tonight's talk show. Before I start, I would like to ask you a question. Have you ever thought about what poverty alleviation means? Some people may say that poverty alleviation is about getting rid of poverty and living a better life. That's right, but this is just a superficial understanding. True poverty alleviation is not only about material wealth, but also about spiritual freedom and spiritual liberation. This talk show is aimed at achieving SDG 1, so let's embark on the journey of poverty alleviation talk show together and see if we can gain some inspiration and reflection through laughter. Next, we have Kevin, a representative from a social welfare organization who has long been committed to helping the poor by providing them with care and hope through education, healthcare, and other means. He will share with us what she has seen and heard on the pace of public welfare, as well as how he has witnessed impoverished families gradually moving towards happiness. His share will make us more aware that poverty alleviation is not just an individual's struggle, but also requires the attention and support of society.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to be here today. We gather not only for entertainment, but also to discuss your crucial topic, poverty alleviation. Poverty alleviation is not only a government slogan, but also a dream that millions of poor families aspire to. First of all, I would like to emphasize that poverty eradication is by no means a quick fix. Poverty eradication requires the joint efforts of the whole society, the active participation of the government, enterprise, social organization, and every ordinary person. Only if anyone can contribute his or her shares to the cause of poverty eradication will be able to make more brilliant achievements. Secondly, poverty eradication requires more precise measures. Poverty is not a simple phenomenon. Behind it are problems in many areas, such as economics, education, and healthcare or employment. Therefore, we need to go deep to the poor areas to understand the real situation and implement precise measures before we can help the poor people to get rid of poverty. In addition, I believe that more innovation and breakthroughs are needed in the fight against poverty. The traditional way of poverty alleviation can no longer fully adapt to the development of the current situation. And we need to constantly explore new modes of poverty alleviation and give full place to the advantages of modern technology such as science and technology or the internet in our country, so it can make the work of poverty alleviation more precise and efficient. Okay, what I want to say is that poverty eradication is a long-term endeavor and we cannot afford to slacken off the slightest. Not through perseverance and persistence that we can finally achieve the ambitious goal of building a moderately prosperous society in all aspects. Honorable viewers, today I would like to share you some real-life situation in poverty-stricken areas. Poverty is not a distant legend, but a real experience living all around us. In poor areas, many families live in dire straits. They are trapped in the garments of poverty that cannot extricate themselves from it, either because of natural disaster, lingering disease, or unemployment. Children are unable to get a good education because their family are poor, and some of them even forced to drop out their school because of poverty, which make their future full of unnecessities and difficulties. In improvements area, medical conditions are difficult to many sick people, like they cannot receive timely and effective treatment and live pain and suffering. Lacking basic medical protection, they are often forced to choose to suffer from disease instead of actively seeking treatment. In poor areas, the infrastructure is lagging behind. Transport are inconvenient and communication is very poor, which make it extremely difficult for people in poor areas to connect with the outside world. This isolation and closure makes their life even more difficult, lacking opportunities and possibilities for the development of country. In impoverished areas, the living environment is poor and there is a lack of clean drinking waters in sanitation. Many families have been living in a poor environment for a long time. They are prone to various kinds of disease and have a very low quality of life. These tragic realities are deeply saddening to us and make us more aware that it's never easy to fight against poverty. We need more attention and support, and stronger policies and measures to enable poor people and areas to get rid of poverty as soon as possible and lead a happy and real life. Let's work together to fight for the people at poor area and contribute our share for them. Thank you.
Okay, now let's hear today's guest share his personal experience in impoverished mountainous areas. This guest, Kevin, is a villager from a poverty-stricken mountainous area. He has personally experienced the hardships of poverty and also felt the hope of poverty alleviation. Please welcome our guest to the stage and share their stories.
Alright, dear viewers, today I would like to share you some real life situation about poor areas. Let's go to places and have suffered so much and feel the hardship and perseverance of those poor families. Poverty still exists in many places we live. Poverty is not only an economic problem, but also a comprehensive reflection of people's living conditions. Let's take a look at the sad state of affairs in those poor areas together. First of all, I originally come from a backward rural area where inconvenient transport and lack of resources have led to problems and lagging economic development and poor infrastructures. Many poor families live in a simple adobe house, where even basic water and food are difficult to secure. The children do not have good educational resources, most of them cannot receive a good education, and the future are full of uncertainties. Let us come deeply impoverished areas. Here, people living conditions are even more difficult as a result of natural disasters, disease and other factors. Many families have been plugged into difficulties in life. They do not have a stable source of income and life in dire straits. In such an environment, many people do not even have access to basic medical care and their lives will be in danger if they're ill. Again, let us focus to women and children in those areas. Due to the long history, backwardness and poverty, many women and children are unable to enjoy basic rights and guarantees. Women bear the heavy burden of domestic and productive labor in the family, but their contribution is often neglected and underestimated. As for children, the lack of good educational resources and a good environment to grow up, and they cannot enjoy the same opportunities and benefits in the women children. They are the tip of the iceberg in the poor areas, and poverty has brought great pain and distress to those families. However, despite enormous challenge, we should not despair, for we have the confidence and determination to change all of this. Let us join hands and work together to help those poor families out of their plight so they can enjoy a better life. Let us take action to prove that poverty is not a lifelong destiny and that everyone has the right an opportunity to change his or her fate. Thank you.
Okay, next, let's explore the fundamental cause of global poverty together. Poverty is not accidental, but a result of multiple intertwined factors. Among them, factors such as social inequality, uneven resources, lack of education, and illness are the main causes of poverty. On a global scale, the root cause of poverty lies in structural problems such as imbalanced economic development, imperfect social systems, and unequal distribution of resources. To truly solve the problem of poverty, the international community needs to work together to formulate more fair and responsible policies, promote economic development and social progress, and enable everyone to enjoy equal opportunities and rights.
Thank you. The issue of global poverty is a complex and profound social phenomenon, and its root cause involve many aspects, including various fields such as economy, politics, society, and culture. Here, I will analyze some detail the root of causes of poverty among the global poor. Firstly, the imbalance of economic structure is one of the major causes of the global poverty problem. In many developing countries and regions, the economic structure was very homogeneous. The level of industrial development is very low. The majority of the population was engaged in agriculture and handicraft, and the labor force had limited employment opportunities and a low level of income. At the same time, the economic instability and market fluctuation brought about by globalization have made it difficult for many poor people to obtain a stable source of income and have been plugged into a chronic poverty. Secondly, the imperfection of social and political system is one of the root causes of global poverty. In many countries and regions, there are serious problems of social injustice and abuse of power, leading to an uneven distribution of resources, with a small number of people enjoying the lion's share of the resources and the power, while the majority of pauper people live in the poverty. Factors such as political corruption and social instability also prevented the poor from obtaining their due political rights and social security, exacerbating the worsening of the poverty problem. Third, the low level of education is one of the major causes of global poverty. The lack of good educational opportunities prevents the poor from acquiring the unnecessary knowledge and skill to adapt to the development needs in the modern society, placing them into a disadvantageous position in the economics and social life. At the same time, the low level of education also affects the awareness and self-improvement ability for the poor people, making it difficult for them to escape from the flight of the property. In addition, cultural traditions and social habits also contribute the global property, fragile thinking, and conservative concept exist in some regions, and inequality between the man and the woman and discriminations against ethnic minorities are widespread. Between making the survivals and development of the poor severely restricted, the lack of modernized mindset and lifestyle also make it difficult for the poor to integrate into the pace of development of modern society and fall into a passive state of the development. To sum up, the root causes of poverty among the global poor are the result of a combination of many factors, among which the imbalance of economic structures, the imperfection of social and political system, low educational levels, cultural traditions, and imperfections of social habits, and it play important role in the society. To solve this problem, this is necessary for the international community to make concerned efforts to formulate their the fairer and more reasonable policies, promote economic development and social progress, and enhance the quality of life and development capability to the poor people, so as to achieve the goal of sustainable global development. Thank you.
Okay, next, let's think together. What can we as ordinary people do for impoverished regions around the world? Firstly, we can extend our understanding and comprehension of impoverished areas by focusing on their issues. We can provide material and spiritual support to impoverished areas by participating in charitable activities, volunteer service, and other means. At the same time, we can actively spread positive energy, promote stories and situations of impoverished areas, call on more people to pay attention to and participate in poverty alleviation, and jointly help impoverished areas to lift themselves out of poverty and develop.
Okay, thank you. When we're facing the challenge of global poverty areas, everyone can make positive contributions to the poverty areas. First, education is the key to solve the problem of poverty. We can support education programs to provide more education resources and opportunities for poor areas, helping children to receive a good education and enhancing their learning ability for future development opportunities. In addition, we also can carry out a universalization of compulsory education to encourage more students to go to school, so as to fundamentally break the viral cycle of poverty. Secondly, the development of sustainable economic industry is an important way to improve the livelihood of poor areas. We can support local agriculture development, handicraft, and some small enterprise, provide the technical support and market channels. And we can help the local residents to increase their source of income to improve their living conditions. At the same time, we can also encourage social investment and attract more capital to flow into impoverished areas to promote sustainable economic development. In addition, strengthening infrastructure development is an important means to improve the quality of life in poor areas. We can support infrastructure projects such as roads, bridge, and water conservancy projects to improve transport and communication conditions and raise the production and living standards of impoverished areas. At the same time, we can also promote clean energy and environmental protections project to improve environmental quality, protect natural resources. Protect the natural resources to promote sustainable development. In addition, strengthening international cooperation is the key to solving the problem of global poverty. We can support the UN, which is the United Nations, and other international organizations to carrying out the assistance projects for impoverished areas, providing humanitarian aid and development assistance to help impoverished areas cope with emergencies and long-term development challenge. At the same time, we can also strengthen our cooperation with developing countries, like a lot of countries and religions, to jointly formulate and implement poverty alleviation projects, so as we can promote the situation of the global poverty problems to the society. In order to make more people understand the problem about the poor areas, we also can carry out publicities and education service activities to increase the public attentions and participations to let them join to this issue. Through the internet is one of the ways. Media and social platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, we can release relevant information and story about poverty-stricken areas to arouse the attention and concern of all sectors of society. So, they can donate monies or items to these unprivileged areas to help the people there. At the same time, we also can organize public welfare activities and volunteer service to pass the love and warmth to more people and help the people in poverty-stricken areas to get out of their plight and embrace a better future. To summarize, each of us can contribute to the global poverty-stricken areas and help them achieve sustainable development and poverty alleviation and prosperity through supporting education, development, the economy, strengthening infrastructure construction, and enhancing international cooperation. For example, as normal citizens, we can just donate even $1 to the organizations to help the underprivileged citizens. At the same time, we can also make more people aware in the problem in the poverty-stricken areas through publicities and education and public welfare activities. We can publish these activities via newspaper and social medias, like as I said just now. We can work together to bring hope and change to poverty-stricken areas. Thank you.
Okay, let's start. Ordinary people play a vital role in the global fight against poverty. While we may not have the huge amounts of money and resources that governments, agencies, or large charitable organizations have, there are still some simple ways in which we can contribute and bring hope and change to people in poor areas. Here are some of the ways ordinary people can contribute to global poverty eradication.
So first is donation and funding. Donations are one of the most direct ways to help. Although the amount may be small, it adds up, and every donation has the potential to change the fate of a family. In addition, one can choose to sponsor children or families in poor areas on a regular basis to provide them education, medical care, and living expenses. Second is volunteering. Getting involved in volunteering is a very rewarding way to help people in deprived areas. One can participate in voluntary activities through organizations or charities, such as education support, medical assistance, community building, and more, to provide help and support to the local people in the area. Then is to buy fair and trade products. Choosing to buy fair trade products is another way to support impoverished areas. These products usually come from small farmers or craftsmen in developing countries, and through fair trade, they are able to receive reasonable remuneration and improve their living conditions. Then is the education performance, or we can say education promotion. Education is the key to lift the people out of poverty. So it is possible to help people in impoverished areas by supporting education programs. You can donate books, study tools, or for school construction in poor areas to provide better learning conditions for children. Then is to have awareness promotion. Raise public awareness and concern about global poverty issues by informing and educating others, and arouse more people attention and participation. We can spread the real situation in poor areas and call on more people to join the cause of poverty eradication through social media, participating in related activities, and organizing charity sales. And we also can supporting sustainable development projects. Sustainable development projects can help us or the poor peoples in poor areas to get out from the long-term poverty. Project in environmental protection, agriculture development, and clean energy can be to contribute to the sustainable development of poor areas. Participation in political social activities For example, to the government, it can adopt more measures and policies to support the development of poor areas and poverty education work. 1. Can speak out for the rights and interests of the poor by voting, signing petitions, and participating in demonstrations. Overall, everyone can make a contribution to the global cause of poverty eradication, whether through donations, volunteering, purchasing fair trade products, or awareness campaigns. They can bring hope and change to people in poor areas. It is important to be persistent and consistent in contributing to the world of poverty elimination. So, let us work together to build a fairer and more harmonious world.
Personalisasi
biggest challenges facing the global poverty eradication process. The biggest challenges in the process of global poverty eradication are multifaceted, covering a wide range of areas, including economic, social, and environmental. Here are some of the main challenges.
Yeah, thank you. So there are a lot of main challenges. For example, the first one, economic inequality. Economic inequality is the one of the main obstacles in the global process of poverty eradication. The gap between the rich and the poor is widening, which the rich are getting richer, and the richer, while people in poor areas are still trapped in the plight of the poverty. This unequal distribution leads to unfair utilization of resources, making the development of poor areas limited. Then is the lack of a sustainable development model. Many poor areas face problems of resources scarcity and ecological degradation. And lack a sustainable development model, a traditional development and model often relies on over-exploitation resources and destructions of the environment, leading to depletion of resources and collapse of the ecosystem, which in turn exacerbates the problem of poverty. Then is the social instability and conflict. Many poor regions face social instability and conflict, which not only exacerbates poverty, but also hinders the development process. Conflicts and wars have led to displacement of people, destruction of infrastructures and economic decline, making people in poor areas even more distressed. Then is the climate change and natural disaster. Climate change and natural disaster are also important challenge in the global process of poverty eradication. Poor areas tend to be more vulnerable to climate change and natural disasters such as droughts, floods, storm, and war, which can lead to problems such as agricultural losses, resource scarcity, and hardship, which in turn exacerbates poverty. Last is the education and health problem. Many poor areas face education and health problems such as lack of basic education resources and medical facilities. Education and health are the foundations of human development, and lack of these basic conditions can prevent people from escaping poverty and limit their development and creativity. In the face of this challenge, the international community needs to adopt comprehensive and sustainable measures, including strengthening global cooperation, promoting economic development, improving social welfare, and enhancing environmental protection. Only through multi-party cooperation and joint efforts can we achieve the goal of global poverty eradication and build a more equitable and harmonious world. Thank you.
How important is education to the development of poor areas? Education is crucial to the development of poor areas, not only to change the fate of individuals, but also to promote the development of entire communities and countries. The following is the importance of education in the development of poor areas.
Alright, so first one is improving the quality of life. Education is one of the most effective ways to help individuals escape poverty. People with a good education are more likely to have access to well-paid jobs, thus improving their own quality of life and their ability to provide better living conditions for their families. Next is to improving employment opportunities. Educated people are more likely to access to employment opportunities and to be able to work in more skilled jobs with higher incomes. By improving employment opportunities, education can effectively reduce the unemployment rate in poor areas and promote economic development. Next is to promote economic growth. Education is one of the key drivers of economic growth. Educated people are more creative and innovative and are able to contribute to scientific and technological process and economic development. Thus, investing in education not only improves the quality of rights of an individual, but also fuels economic growth for the entire communities and the country. Then is to reduce poverty and inequality. Education reduces poverty and inequality and improves people's social status and standard of living. By providing equal educational opportunities, it can help people in poor areas to get rid of poverty, realize their self-worth, and promote social equality and harmonious development. Then, it also can improve health and nutrition. Educated people are more likely to have access to knowledge about health and nutrition and are thus better able to protect their own health and that of their families. Education raises health awareness, reduces the incidence of disease and malnutrition, and improves health in poor areas. Last is have driving social development. Education not only improves the individual skills and competencies, but also fosters a sense of citizenship and social responsibility. Educated people are more likely to participate in social activities and public affairs to promote social progress and development. So, in general, education is one of the key factors in the development of poor areas. By providing equal educational opportunities, people in poor areas can be helped to escape from poverty, realize their self-worth, and promote social equity and harmonious development. Therefore, the international community should increase its investment in and support for education in impoverished areas to create more favorable conditions for their development. Thank you.
How to ensure that donations and assistance can really and directly benefit people in needy areas. It is very important to ensure that donations and assistance can really benefit people in poor areas directly. And a series of measures need to be taken to guarantee the effective use and transparent management of funds.
Thank you. So first, we need to choose trustworthy organization and projects. Donation should be carefully investigated and assessed before making a donation to the beneficiary organizations and projects. And those accredited and trustworthy charitable organizations or international aid agencies should be chosen. These organizations usually publish their financial status and project implementation openly and transparently to ensure that the funds are used wisely. Next is to regular tracking and monitoring. After making a donation, the use of the funds should be regularly tracked and monitored, and communication should be maintained with the beneficiary organizations or project parties. It can be done through regular reports, site visits, phone calls, or emails to find out the progress of the project and to ensure that the donations are being used for the right purpose. Then is the establishment of a transparent financial system. Beneficiary organizations or project parties should establish a sound financial system to ensure that the process of using funds is open, transparent, and legally compliant. This includes measures such as establish a financial auditing system, preparing financial reports, and disclosing financial information so that donors can monitor and review the use of the funds. Then we need to have cooperation with local communities and governments. Beneficiary organizations or object parties should establish a good cooperative relationship with local communities and government, and work together to formulate project plans and implementation programs, so as to ensure that the projects are in line with local realities and needs. Through cooperation with local communities and governments, the needs of the poor areas can be better understood, and the effectiveness and sustainability of the project can also be improved. Then is to establishment of a feedback mechanism. Beneficiary organization or project parties should establish a feedback mechanisms to receive comments and suggestions from donors and beneficiaries, and make timely adjustments to the project program and implementation modalities. By establishing a mechanism for two-way communication, the trust and participation for donors can be enhanced, while the flexibility and adaptability for the project also can be improved. Last, the emphasis on impact assessment of projects. Beneficiary organizations or project parties should pay attention to the impact assessment work of projects, assess the effectiveness and efficiency of projects in a timely manner, and report the results of the assessment to donors and beneficiaries in an open and transparent manner. Through regular impact assessment work, problems in the project can be identified and solved in a timely manner to ensure that the project achieves the expected results and objectives. Thus, in a summary, a series of measures are needed to ensure that the donation and assistance can truly directly benefit people in poverty-stricken areas, including the selection of trustworthy organizations and projects, regular tracking and monitoring of the use of funds, the establishment of a transparent financial system, cooperation with local communities and government, the setting up of a feedback mechanisms, and an emphasis on impact assessment of projects. Only through the effective implementation of these measures can we ensure that donations and assistance are effectively utilized to bring real help and change to people in poor areas.
In the next episode, we will delve into the main causes of poverty and how to achieve poverty alleviation goals. We will focus on the root causes of poverty on a global scale. Analyze various factors such as economy, politics, and society, and present a more comprehensive and in-depth perspective to the audience. In this episode, we will invite government officials from various countries, representatives of international organizations, and social leaders to participate in discussions and directly communicate with leaders and legislators in front of the screen. We will jointly explore solutions to the problem of poverty and seek effective ways to alleviate it. Through such communication and discussion, we hope to gather more consensus and strengths and make greater contributions to the achievement of the global poverty alleviation goal. Let's work together and strive for a better and more equitable world.
Okay, so in this episode of Out of Poverty, Smiling at the Future, we explore the root causes and solutions to global poverty. Through the sharing and discussions of our guests, we have learned that poverty is not only an economic problem, but also a comprehensive challenge involving social, political, educational, and cultural projects. However, we do not despair in the face of poverty because we believe that through various means, such as education, economic development, infrastructure constructions, and educational cooperations, we can change the destiny of impoverished areas and bring more people out of poverty to embrace a brighter future. Let's join hands and contribute to the cause of global poverty eradication so that everyone can have a happy and good life.